Oh, hello everyone. I'm Michael, and I'm from Toronto, Canada. I'm here today to make this video to show you some tips that go back to the basics on how to conduct a successful junior session.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you some tips on how to do exactly that. Now, tip number 1 is to smile, okay? Not like this guy, okay? This guy's not smiling. When you smile, you become more energetic and you are warm. Because when you teach, you're in an online environment. The kids can only see you through the screen. And so it's important that you bring across that level of warmth, if you will. Because when you do that, you engage with them, and they're better learners because of your level of engagement. You can do things like saying, high five! Oh wait, that's high 10. Or you can say things like, good job! All right, so be verbal, use your body a lot, use your facial expression, again, smile a lot. That will transcend, that will come across, okay? Even if you're oceans away. Now, what you do not want to be doing is not engaging, obviously. And here's an example of that. Hello, Lucy. How are you today? All right. Shall we start our lesson? Now, notice that I'm still smiling, but it's boring, and we don't want to be boring. We want to smile, we want to engage, we want to make them want to learn. Okay, good job! All right, tip number 2, be interactive. Now, what does that mean? Now, we're talking about the student's output, right? Now, in my experience, I like giving the student about 70% of speaking time throughout the class. And of course, I as the facilitator, we as the facilitator, use up about 30% of the time. So there are a few ways to make sure that the interactivity comes across in an online class. Say I am teaching how to talk about the response to someone asking you, how are you? So what I do is I talk to my puppy and I act it out for my student. How are you?
I'm fine.
Well, now Lucy,
how are you?
And you say, I am fine. Lucy, say, I am fine.
Good job, Lucy. Oh, it's nice to meet you too.
And there we've just taught the student how to respond to how are you. And you can do this a few times. There's nothing wrong in repeating the exercise until the student gets how to respond to your question. All right, in another example, if for example you should be teaching the letter in the vocabulary, say here we have the letter U. And if you want to teach you, you want to do it slowly because likely this is a very low level student. And so you start by sounding the word carefully, and you would want to do it loudly, so loud that the student can actually hear it. You. Lucy, look at my mouth and say you. Very good. All right, what is this? It's a unicorn. A unicorn. A unicorn. What is a unicorn, Lucy? Do you know? No? Guess what? I have a unicorn with me. And here she is. This is a unicorn. Look, there's one horn on its head. A unicorn. Unicorn. Oh, a unicorn. Unicorn. Very good, Lucy. All right, so that's how you should do it. Now, what you should not be doing is to just give the letter away and not interact with it. So here is a non-example of what not to do. Lucy, this is the letter U, okay? And then be done with it. You don't want to do that. You want to act it out. You want to be elaborate. You want to be interactive. Okay. And here's tip number 3. It's called TPR, or Total Physical Response. And this is how you relate your message through non-verbal communication. It's in your facial expression, it's in your body language on how to deliver a new word or an instruction. Okay, so examples of TPR. When I'm giving my students the instruction to repeat after me, I can say, using very simple language, for example, I say, you repeat. Okay? Again, I say, you repeat. So the students will understand that they're expected to repeat after you. Or sometimes I need them to help me circle the correct answer on the whiteboard. I will say, hey, Tommy, can you circle this with your mouse? Circle, big circle, yes. And then they would understand that they're expected to circle it. Or when I'm saying, when I'm asking them if they can see what I see, I say, what do you see? By saying this, I also use my body language. So we can say, what do you see? What do you see? All right, so these are some good examples of TPR. Of course, what not to do is easily understood. You don't want to be doing things like, what do you see, Tommy? What do you see? Can you circle? Can you circle? Please, Tommy, can you circle? Circle it. Circle it, Tommy. So those are some very bad examples of what not to do. Okay, moving on to tip number 4. You want to talk slowly and wait for the student's response. So let's use an example of when you introduce yourself to the students. It's important to pace yourself slow enough for the level that they're in. So here's an example using self-introduction. Hello, my name is Michael. Michael, I am teacher Michael. And I am from Canada. Canada, Canada. It is very far away from where you are. Do you know Canada? So, as you can see, I am pacing myself quite slowly, and that's okay because you want to make sure that they understand. Okay, moving on to tip number 5. Have props. Lots of props. Now, props are good, but the best prop of all is your trusty whiteboard, because a whiteboard is any prop that you want it to be, right? So whenever you're having difficulty communicating a certain vocabulary, you can always use the whiteboard. Of course, you have the digital whiteboard, but of course you can also have a whiteboard handy in case you need to draw something. You don't have to be an artist. You know, for example, you wanna teach the word apple. It's very easy for you to just draw it and then share it with your student, right? Okay, you can bring it close so that the students will see it better on the screen, because depth can create energy, okay? It can create engagement, right? And I've just taught the word bunny. I can play with it, right? Even if it's not really relevant. I could have them, that's it, mommy pig, right? And this is daddy pig. And so they're being chased by the giant bunny. Oh, Daddy Pig, run, there's a giant bunny. No, there is not. There so is. Oh! You know, and then the kids will laugh, and then, you know, this makes it a much better class than, you know, than acting proper. You know, kids don't like proper. They like us to be silly. The sillier we are, the better the class. Okay. All right. Tip number 6. Use simple language. When you teach children, you want to make sure that you simplify your instruction. Let's use the example of when you want to reward your students for good behavior. So if your student does a good job listening, speaking, and you want to give them a reward, you can do what I do. Instead of saying a whole bunch of words that the student might not understand, use, for example, a whiteboard. Here I have my own reward system whereby I hope you can tell that this is an apple tree with one apple on it. So I can say, for example, "Hi, Tommy, you did a great job. So I am going to give you an apple. Your apple. This is for your good listening, good speaking, and good reading." And when Tommy does not do such a good job at listening, speaking, and reading, the caterpillar will eat your apple. And then you can go on and erase the reward so the students can understand that it's been taken away, so that as to encourage the student to always be participating in your class. That's just what I do. You can build your own reward system in addition to what the system already has, which, as you know, are stars and stickers and even clap of hands. Those are tools that are available to us, but it's very helpful always to have your own reward system handy. It doesn't have to be an apple tree, like I said, it can be anything. So be creative and use whatever you think is appropriate. But bottom line is, use simple language. As minimal as possible, because these are kids that you're teaching after all. Okay, last but not least, this is my final tip of the day, and it has to do with time management. Yes, time is of the essence because you have as little as 25 minutes in your class. And you want to make sure that you break it up into these different activities in a very organized manner. You want to spend some time doing the greeting, of course, and then of course the warm-up activities, but don't spend too much time on those things. You want to make sure that the bulk of the time you have are used to talk about the objective of the lesson. So don't stray too far out from it. You want to talk around it, yes, but you don't want to lose focus of it. That's very important. And again, you want to make sure that your students have the opportunity to speak for the majority of the time that you are talking about the objective of the lesson. And of course, you want to always stay energetic and have lots of fun with them as you go, because if it's not fun for you, it's not fun for them. So be the kid, bring out the kid in you, and have fun. That's the key, all right? Have fun, have a cigar.